Stupid bastard! Lies!
All right. So let's get into this episode as far as just talking about the Lord of the Ring review on those two episodes that just passed by. Um so let's see. I really want to talk about, I mean, let's kind of break it down on like how exactly these two episodes played out. As far as the first one goes, I like that, the introduction as far as being back into the realm of Mordor. I think that was really interesting. We got a beautiful scenery, especially when I always get this name. I always mess up her name, but it's not Galadriel, is Galadriel.
Yeah.
When she was young, it was a beautiful sight, especially all the meadow, like where she was actually playing around, and when she made that, like, it was like a duck or something like that had like magical. It was like actually flying in the water.
Right.
Um,
Kind of cast it.
yeah,
somewhere.
it was just a beautiful, kind of memento, like coming back to the same realm of just Lord of the Ring. I think it was just a beautiful introduction. It was interesting to kind of get like some sort of insight, especially I didn't get like when she was getting messed with. You know what I mean? I was like, what the fuck? You know what I mean? Like she was getting messed with. That sucked. But now we got a little bit of an understanding on the concept of. I think she really looks up to her brother a lot. Not I don't know where her parents are at. You know what I mean? I don't think like anybody really digs that deep into her background. But it just seemed like it was just really her brother and stuff like that she always looked up to and talked to about her problem, like anything about.
Yeah. He was like out there doing the war with everything. He's like one of the four the elves that was part of that war that was going on at that time.
Yeah,
when she
that
was
see to
younger.
me, I was confused on like what was the war about. You know what I mean? I was like, what was this about? But they actually explained it more. Where was it Margroth? I always suck with names, as well. But I think it's Morgoth. I don't know how to really pronounce it, but he was actually the main antagonist before Sauron, which I never heard of
Yeah.
him until this show. You know what I mean? Because I've never heard of him before, but I'm guessing that was a threat. It was the orcs, and again, they just tend to always want to kill everything in sight. So they wanted to, I'm guessing, just start a war, and they did. I mean, it was a fatal casualty as far as the elves. And they lost a lot of people, including Galadriel's brother. She lost her brother in that war, and that was pretty shitty. And then after the war was over, I'm thinking like, yeah, they did kill Margroth, so that obviously there was no sign of any threat, I'm guessing, throughout the years until I think they found, like, Galadriel actually found Galadriel, I'm sorry, found a symbol on her brother's neck, which was interesting. That was the same symbol that Sauron used to have, and that, to me, I thought that was amazing to kind of bring back, like, Sauron, because I mean, in Lords of the Ring, he already was dead. He was just trying to, he was still lurking in the shadows and stuff like that. Kind of the same situation with, in Harry Potter with, Voldemort, Lord Voldemort. You know what I mean? Like he was like a living, like he was already alive, but it was just like his memories, and he's always spoken about, there's like, yeah, like, you know what I mean? Like it was just his memories was always living on, and he was also still, Sauron was still alive. You know what I mean? But it was not like he was actually not physically alive, but he was alive in another realm.
Right.
So it was interesting to kind of bring him back into the mix. To me personally, I would like to have known more about Sauron, like, you know, why he came to be who he was. You know what I mean? Is he like an ascendant from, you know, Margrave? Like, is there a reason why he wants to take over everything? Like, there's got to be a valid reason on why he actually wants to be, you know, this evil dick. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
So
because they look similar in design too, like the way they both look. Uh, both of them, it's like they both got like the same helmet, kind of in a way.
yeah.
It's so yeah. I was wondering the same thing too, if they're like related in some kind of way.
Yeah, because I mean, we've never really gotten the full explanation on what's the reasoning on why he wants to do what he wants to do. You know what I mean? I don't think it's just he wants to kill because he wants to. I think there's a legit reason behind that. So I would have wanted a little more of a backstory to Sauron because you know he's still not even mentioned like that even throughout the Lords of the Ring. Like I mean we've heard of the reasoning why he wanted to create the ring, his ring, and that was to be more powerful than all the other rings, and you know control the realm and stuff like that. We got a little bit of like bits and pieces of what he's done, but as far as him himself, I don't think there's a lot detailed. Or you know, if it is, then you know you have to go dig, you have to dive deep into like the lore, which I don't mind doing, but it would have been better if it was just shown to me. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah. Go
So
down
I
that.
mean, it was really interesting to see that you know he was brought back into you know the Lord of the Ring. You know what I mean? Like it was. I mean, I feel like they really had to because he was the biggest antagonist. Like you know what I mean? Like he was the main reason why Lord of the Ring had to be like made. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't really picture him without being there. You know?
Oh right. Yeah, it's like one of the main things you think of when you think of Lord of the Rings is a villain.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you know, like I said, Galadriel. She blames him for obviously her brother's death, and as she should. Um, you know, and I'm guessing that. Excuse me. I'm guessing that he actually had to, you know, plan this whole plan out for years, right? Like he had to really gather his army again. You know, I think Sauron actually is a lot smarter than Morgoth. If I'm, yeah, I feel like I'm butchering that name. Well, I'm not saying it right, but um, you know, I feel like he's a lot more smarter just because like he strategizes his moves. You know what I mean? And usually, you know, there's always some sort of like trap or some sort of thing that's hidden behind something. Like there's always some lead up to like all his steps on what he does. You know what I mean? So that I think he's a lot smarter and he knows exactly like what's he doing and like you know how to really strategize his move sets. So I think he's definitely the reason behind her brother's death for sure. And it's good that like she believes in it herself that he's still fucking alive out there. You know, it sucks that, you know, she got a team that, you know, wasn't really supportive. You know what I mean? Because again, like the team that was really helping her climb the mountains and, you know, scouring they've been on a journey for a long time. You know what I mean? Is trying to find this guy and, you know, no sign of him. And that's why they kind of given up all hope. You know, so they feel like she's chasing like a ghost or just nothing that, you know, that's just not existent. You know what I mean? They just lost faith in it because how long it's been since
Right.
the war, since the last war they had. It's been a couple years now, but you know, she's
Yeah.
the only one that feels like there's still more to do.
Yeah,
So
it's like she wants to get revenge for her brother. That's like her main goal. It
right. I
seems.
mean, come on, man. That was her brother. You know what I mean? That was like, you know, that was her only family. I don't know about the parents, but you know, it just felt like it was really her own family, and you know, she definitely wants some justice for that. So I mean, that's why she knows that he's still lurking in the shadows somewhere. So you know, and then when they found the castle, I'm guessing like in the icy fog and stuff like that. That was crazy to see that.
Yeah, I was wondering if that was the same place from the first Lord of the Rings movie.
It kind of
It
looked
kind of
like it. It did look like it a little bit, yeah.
yeah, like that one place where they went, where they had to do, they had to say a secret word to open the door. With Gandalf was trying to open that one door, and
Oh, you talking about like that underground kind of like catacombs area where all the dead bodies were at?
yeah, it's like that place where the door he was like familiar with the inside of it. Is like it kind of it looks similar to that place they was in. It's like a cave. It looked like.
Yeah.
Oh,
And I'm guessing that's where that's where Margraf was at, right? Like that's where he was at, and that was the last time that they sighted an orc or something like that. It was a long.
yeah, seen his symbol in one of the floor.
Yeah, that was interesting. Like when she poured the what was it, water or something like that onto the actual page, and actually, it came out with like the symbol. I thought that was cool.
Right. Yeah, that was like a sign that he was still around, and they was kind of on a good track of where he left was last at or whatever.
Yeah. I mean, I was kind of mad though, like I said, because I mean, as far as the team, she was just like, look, man, we got to keep setting out. So I mean, we're gonna go into our next journey and try to, keep scouring like the lands and see if we can find this guy. And when she turned around, they was all looking at her like, yeah. So I mean, I'm not with it. After we had that run in with the, what was it, the snow troll, I think is what they called it, the giant troll that was in there.
Right.
Yeah, that was just like, look, I ain't signed up for this. And I'm looking at them like, bro, I mean, you're supposed to be like her supporters, like, or like, at least a task force in some shape or form. So it's like, you can't really just say, fuck it, I'm tapping out. Like in the middle, like, how are you even going to get back? You know what I mean? But they did get back, and, it was just shitty that she had to like go back home. And even though she completed the task, I'm guessing, because again, they actually originally went to fight. I forgot who they went to go fight exactly, but they went to go do a mission. They completed the mission, but she feels like she's not accomplished what her true goal is, which is killing Sauron.
Yeah.
So, it sucked that she had to return home, which was a beautiful sighting of the elf kingdom. I thought that was cool.
And that group that she's with is actually the seven elves from like the beginning. They always talk about with the main group of elves that hold the power of the rings they have.
Is that so? You're saying like so they're the ones that's the reason why they kind of opened up that like that light gate on the ship at the end of episode 1, right?
Oh yeah, yep. That's how they gain access to that. Yeah, that heaven, that star they worship too. That's another thing too. Like if you look close to like a lot of the symbols on their armor and everything, all of them have like the star on their armor in some kind of way placed on their armor. I didn't even know that about the elves. Like they worship like sun gods, like pagans used to. It's kind of based on like the pagans in real life. I thought that's interesting. I didn't know that about the elves.
Yeah, I didn't actually know that either, because I mean, that's what I'm saying. I mean, we got a sense of what was kind of like the elves culture in part 1 and all 3 of the the original movies. But I mean, at least we're getting a little more explanation on, like, not explanation, but like we're seeing more of their culture. You know what I mean? And I think that's cool to really appreciate some of the hidden things like that are mentioned. Well, not mentioned, but like shown in the show. I think that's something that's cool to really admire.
Yeah, and even like the tree of life too. That's another thing that's part of like paganism in real life. Like the tree that's in their mainland that you see. That's like like a big thing in paganism.
But I mean, like I said, I thought it was interesting to kind of get, a little bit of an idea of the main protagonist in the show, which is Galadriel. How do we say Galadriel? Galadriel. So I mean, we didn't know a lot because it kind of just fast forwarded because obviously like there's not enough time to really dive more into her background. All we know is that she's out for vengeance. She's experienced loss. She's obviously experienced with combat training, so she knows how to actually handle herself. And I thought that was cool. Out of the way she took down the troll, that was badass. So
Yeah.
that's what I'm saying. Like it's cool to see an elf in action like that. Especially a woman elf as well. So I think that's cool.
Plus, and that they're gonna probably show more flashbacks in later episodes too.
Yeah,
So
that's what I'm saying. Like maybe we can kind of see some events that kind of was like left out. I mean, like I said, it's the first 2 episodes is just kind of trying to reel the audience in with just some things. And like I said, it's doing a great job because again, it's as far as like the first episode, it was a good introduction. We got to see Sauron. We got a better understanding of the story now, where it's kind of going. We got new characters. I like Nori. Who else is in there? I always forget the name. The archer. What's his name?
Arder.
Well, he's not an archer, but I mean, he's like a part of a watch or something like that. Like he protects like a specific area of the. Yeah, go ahead.
It seemed like he worships because he looks like an elf, but he wears different armor from them. It looks like that tree, like those tree people that was in like the second Lord of the Rings movie. I'm not sure if that's connected to that, but it looks like he's part of a different clan of some sort.
Yeah.
Like, he's like a new archer that's introduced. Yeah, it's interesting to see what they're about.
Yeah, we don't know too much about him. We just know that what's his name again? I'm terrible with names, bro. I think it's
Arender.
Okay, Arender. I feel like we're saying that terribly, but Arender, we don't know too much about him. All we know that he's like some sort of watch for that, specific area where I think it's where Theo and what was the mom's name as well? Baron Bar. I don't remember the name, dude. That's what I'm saying. It's like it's hard for me because I'm trying to pay attention to the story. That's the difficult part of it is.
Right.
Bronwyn. So that's where that they have their little village at, and he kind of just watches over that. He's like some sort of policeman for that area. I don't know. So we don't know too much about him, but all we know is that he knows how to defend himself, and he's pretty much just he was actually more introduced in episode 2. But 1, it was just kind of just setting off. We already talked about 1. So for 2, I want to say like just we got a little bit of an understanding with what was his name again?
Arender.
Yeah, we got a little bit of an understanding with him. We don't know his.
Yeah. And also it showed in the first episode with the hobbits. It showed them too, like an introduction of them too with Ellen. I'm sorry, guys.
Nori.
These names are new to us.
Yeah. That's why I feel like I'm like terrible with names as well. Nori. Yeah, that's Nori. Yeah, and the stranger but the stranger was actually implemented in episode 2. But yeah, we got a little bit of sense of Nori as well. It was good to see the hobbits back in action. I thought that was cool too.
The way they showed them was like a bunch of these 2 hunters. They had like these big antlers on their backs, and I don't know what that clan is about, but we see them later on with Arender in that village. But it's like I guess they arch nemesis with that group with the hobbits or whatever. I guess they hunt them down or something. But they was just hiding from them, and then that's when they showed like the whole village of the hobbits. I thought that was
which is pretty cool. I mean, like we got a chance to see, because they're such a peaceful tribe. You know what I mean? They don't really like too much, any violence or anything like that. So I think that's cool to have some sort of peace in the show. Whereas we're not always worrying about taking over territories or who has to die. You know what I mean? So I think it's kind of good to kind of add some sort of peace in there. And with the hobbits, they've always done that. They're really about bond, like family bondship, or they're just showing kindness. You know what I mean? They're really good creatures. So I think that's cool.
Yeah, they're like little villagers of the whole story. They're just
Yeah.
peaceful. Mhm.
What did you think of the episode 1 so far, man?
Oh yeah, it was cool. It was a good setup to get a good introduction of like all the main cast of characters that we have so far, and get to know them a little bit, and
Mm.
see within each pocket of their village. And I'm glad that they like in each part where they show each village, like they do like a wide scope of the map and they show where each location's at. I think that's cool too, to let the audience know where everybody's based at, so we can have a map in our heads of how everything is geographically.
Yeah,
I think that's
I think that
uh,
is pretty cool, because they always, like, if you even had to like fast forward or rewind or something like that, that's such a quick way to kind of go backtracking. You know what I mean? Instead of just kind of, obviously with the little picture that comes up on the box when you're kind of moving through the timeline. I think that's pretty cool, because at least you can kind of know which part that you left off at. That would be a good a good marker for people to like backtrack or anything if they miss anything.
oh yeah, that too.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, but yeah, I thought the first episode was decent. It was a good introduction.
yeah. Yeah, I agree too. I think it was a lot. It was really like, for me, it was really accepting. I really enjoyed a lot of the characters. Again, I want to say my favorite is obviously the main character. Um, just because like she just has so much to really offer. You know what I mean? As far as like her mind is in the right place. She's trying to trying to get rid of the evil, which is obviously always the main job for the main protagonist. But um, I think she just does a really good job with just grabbing the audiences with her emotions and stuff like that. I think she's not to say like the actor is also phenomenal as well. I mean, she's new. I wouldn't say she's new, but I mean, this is like kind of her breakout role, because I've never really seen her in a lot of other projects. Um, so I think she does a great job. The character itself, I think she does a really good job with kind of reeling you in with just like her ambitious demeanor, and just the way that she's like taking the role. Like, it's just like, I think she just does a really good job. Um, and everybody else too as well. So I think like that, to me, I think the very first introduction to to the show, I think that was it was really good. Um, it got obviously a little better in episode 2, because I think that's where most of the questions are gonna arise. You know what I mean? Especially like now we have to wait every Friday. I think it's every Friday they air. Um, and we'll be
Yeah,
doing that. We'll be doing a review for each one that comes out, because I think that's going to be something people are going to want to listen to. And I think that's going to be a really fun journey to kind of talk about it with you guys.
yeah, definitely let us know, guys, in the comment section if you are interested. Sure.
Um, but for episode
Yeah,
2,
again, in episode 1, it ended off with like these, it showed like asteroids crashing down once they opened up the gate into the star with the elves
oh,
and
yeah,
everything,
yeah, that's right.
and then went into episode 2 from there. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
that's important to say.
Yeah, yeah, that is right. I forgot about that.
Yeah,
And which kind of opens the door for episode 2, which is the stranger, right?
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure everybody's already caught up at this point. If you haven't, we probably should have said that in the beginning of the episode. This is going to be spoilers if you guys haven't already watched it. If you guys haven't watched it, definitely just you can stop right here and actually just go and watch it and then come back on the episode. Um, so for the stranger, I mean, there's so much to unfold with this character, right? Like, um, with him being, crash landing from a meteor, which is a mysterious kind of concept itself. Like, I don't know how that kind of adds up. But he crashes in the same field as the dwarves, which is Nori stumbles across him with. I always forget. I don't know her friend's name.
Oh, Pop.
Poppy. Yeah. Nori and Poppy actually discovered, the stranger just kind of unconscious. Um, to them it was actually just like mind blowing because they've obviously never seen something like that before. So it was a lot to take in.
Yeah.
Um,
They claim him as a giant
well,
because
yeah, because
the
I mean
hobbits are known
because
to be short.
yeah, because anybody that's not a hobbit to them, because hobbits and dwarves are kind of like, I wouldn't say they're the same size, right? I think hobbits are actually smaller than dwarves, right?
Yeah, they're like almost the same height in a way. It's
Yeah.
like depends if they're adult or a child or whatever. Right?
Um, but they'd stumble across him, and then obviously he wakes, he becomes conscious, uh, enough. I mean, he started. I'm sorry, he wakes up and then actually begins to like start yelling, and you can see kind of see like the shadow effect of like the environment around him, right? So we know he has powers in some sort.
Oh
Um,
yeah, because he grabs Nori when he first wakes up inside that crater he landed in. He like grabs her
he
and
makes
then
eye contact with her, right?
right, and like it was
Yeah.
some kind of power force that went. I don't know if it went through her, but I feel like that's an important effect that probably is going to play later on in the story. I imagine maybe.
So he has some sort of abilities that is very mysterious. And for me, I just, I mean, we can probably just like spend like a couple of minutes just kind of really talking about his character, because I just feel like, I mean, we're all thinking it, because I feel like it's relatable to like Gandalf's. Like, if you kind of, Gandalf in the original Lords of the Ring film. Um, because obviously we could still relate to the same situation where, Gandalf was kind of upset, and I forgot who he was getting mad at. I think it was the grandfather of or the uncle, right?
Mando.
So yeah, Bilbo, I think is his name. Is Bilbo or something like that. I don't know. When he had that conversation with him, you can kind of see, when he got annoyed and when he kept arguing, like he was arguing with him, you can kind of see the shadow arise in the house with Gandalf. And it kind of looks similar to this situation, right? Like it's crazy. Um,
Right. He's
so
some or some sort. It seems like.
yeah, so it's like when it did that effect, it was kind of like crazy, you know what I mean? Kind of just took us back to that moment. So I mean, I feel like everybody's like, just using that example, I just feel like everybody's kind of like on the same train as far as like, he might be, I don't know, I can't say if he's the first ever, wizard, I would say, but he has the powers of a wizard, right? Because
Yeah.
he has the darkening, like the shadow effect thing, and then it kind of, he can control the fireflies, and it's a lot of things that he can actually do. Then he also speaks like another, he it's like some sort of chantment that he does in this episode.
Yeah. That's also like Gandalf used to do too. Like he used every time he did like a spell or he did like a chant, he would talk in a different language like that. I remember that in the first one. Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like, I feel like he's like related to the wizards or anything like that. He doesn't know how to speak proper English, I'm sorry. And that's why I'm saying it's kind of confusing on like, how did he get there? Um, he doesn't. It's kind of weird that he doesn't remember anything of his past. He just looks like he's like really lost, scared, doesn't know what's going on. All he knows is like there's a kid in front of him, so he doesn't really know too much about the whole what's going on. So it was nice that Nori was able to stumble across him and was able to kind of like teach him on how to talk. And even though she experienced a lot with him and having like seeing that he yelled at her, well, he didn't yell at her, but again, he didn't know like what to do. Like it was just kind of like it seemed like he was kind of frightened by her. So you know what I mean. So I think he did that out of fear, not by true anger. I don't think so.
Yeah, and it was kind of a coincidence that like once the seven elves was going into the sun, like right when that happened, that's when they crashed down. Like that Ash when he crashed down. So I wonder what the correlation between that them going into the sun and him crashing at the same time is. Must have some kind of attachment to that in a way.
You think so?
Remember?
Yeah.
Yeah, because it literally like happened at simultaneously at the same time. Like right when they arose into the sun, that's when he crashed down. Like right after. I'm like,
Mm.
that's interesting. I wonder if they're gonna explain that in later episodes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that might be a theory. Now I'm thinking about it. That's not a bad conspiracy.
Yeah.
Um so
Why
yeah,
else
I
would
mean
that
like
happen?
for the stranger, I just feel like, there is a lot for us to really dive into his character. So I'm really looking to unfold more information with him, especially, we don't even know who his name is. You know what I mean? So it's just like I don't know who he's supposed to resemble. Um so there is going to be a lot to unfold with that. But moving on, like I said, we got a glimpse of that, all of that, and then also with let's see, because there's so much that happened in episode 2. I mean, the dwarves. I mean, it was. We can kind of touch up on the dwarves as well. Well, wait. Let's touch up on um, what was his name again? The archer. Why do I keep saying archer?
Armendor.
Arndor, yeah. I mean, yeah, it kind of seems like, he was when he ran into Theo's mom. I'm just gonna say because Theo's so much easier to remember. When he ran
Uh-huh.
into her, it just seemed like, there was some sort of love or like some sort of attraction that he had for her. So that
Yeah.
that was that was
Isn't that his sister? Or is that his mom? Theo's.
Theo.
Is
That's
that
Theo's mom. Yeah,
okay? That's his mom. All
yeah.
right.
So it was nice to see Aaron to see him actually gain some sort of affection, you know what I mean, towards her, and I think that was a really cool concept. And he I remember what was the interesting part about this whole scene was that the cow, when the cow actually got there, I think the farmer or something like that was saying like it was the cow looked like it was like really sick. And
Right.
when with Aaron actually was able to like, pull on the udders of the cow, just seems like it was a lot of black stuff that was coming out of it. So it seemed like somebody poisoned it in a way. You know what I mean? Or
Yeah.
sabotaged it or something. It gave it something for it to be sick because I feel like I'm not sure what was the goal, but it kind of seemed like whoever did that just meant to really try to poison everybody in the village by drinking that type of shit. Maybe I don't know if that was the plan, but that was crazy.
Yeah. Like it set some kind of curse upon the cow, or affected it some kind of way. Yeah.
So I think Aaron went on a journey to try to find who did that, right? Like I think that's what he was trying to do is go figure out who did that.
Right. Yeah. See what's behind that. You know. Oh yeah, and it was like a couple characters in the bar too, like the the butcher and everything that they go to every so often inside that bar place, and that other character that one kid that was pretty rude inside the bar. He was trying to pick a fight with.
Well, because like I think the people that live in that village are kind of on the same kind of the same circumstances that everybody else is kind of on the same, like with the elves. Like they don't want to live in so it hasn't been an orc spotted in a very long time, for since the war for everybody. So everybody just wants there's certain people that still believe that they're out there, and everybody else is like, look, listen, we don't care if they are. It's just we want to be in peace. You know what I mean? And I think a lot of them are kind of just upset because people keep talking about it, and there hasn't been any proof. So that's why he's been upset, because he's like the guy in the bar situation, because it's like I'm tired of hearing about this when there hasn't been no evidence. You know what I mean?
Right. And they're just trying to find the tracks of that urban legend and really prove to them. Yeah, it's like it's two sides to it. People that are just over it, and some people are just trying to find the actual truth.
They're trying to move on with their lives. I mean, it's kind of like, yeah. I mean, if it hasn't been, one of the worst kind of creatures in the realm has spotted for that many years. I mean, it's only natural for everybody to kind of keep moving on with their lives, right? Like, why kind of think of like that? But to be realistic, obviously, some people just don't believe it was that easy for it to kind of just go away like that, And it's true. I mean, you just never know. So you should always have like an open mind, right? But that's just not what the villagers or whoever is in that village are kind of saying, or even with the elves. Like they didn't believe Galadriel when, that's why they didn't turn on her, but they were just like, look, listen, she felt abandoned, but at the same time, she didn't give a shit. That's why she set out on that journey. When she jumped the ship, that's what we left out. Is that she heard her brother saying, you have to sometimes go towards the dark to get to I'm thinking the light, right? Is that what he said? I think
yes.
something along those lines. He kind of was making sense. It was like some sort of psychological thing that it made sense though, what he said. And for her, she just felt like just going into that beam of light was just not for her, you know what I mean? So she was just kind of like, I can't do this, man. I gotta try to, see this through until I can get my hands on this guy. It was just shitty, you know what I mean? Because even with when she went back to, her, her kingdom of the elves' kingdom, like I said, even with I forgot we're terrible with names, guys. We are. It's hard for me to remember every single name because there's so many of them. So that guy, like what is he, like some sort of prince? Hold on, let me check out his name real quick.
Yeah. Yeah, and what's the dude's name? Yeah, it seemed like they're really split in the village, and it's only her. She's the main one that believes that he's still out there and everything, and that's why they still continuing to try to track him down little by little. But yeah, it's interesting that I didn't even know she was part of the main 7 too of the elves as well.
Cool. Galadriel.
Yeah, I didn't even know she was part of that main 7.
Come on, man. First things first. We also left this out. I felt like we're leaving a lot of things out. But as far as to an understanding, like it was cool to find out that she was actually in the original Lord of the Ring. This is just a younger version of her. I thought that shit was fire. Like, you know what I mean? I thought that was cool as hell. Because I mean, when we first seen her character, like I mean, I don't really remember like too much of. I've seen all the movies a lot of times. It's been a while since I've been able to kind of revisit them. But I do remember seeing, the older version of her in one of the films. I don't know which one it was. I think it was 2 or 3, one of them.
Yeah, she was
Um,
in the first one.
she was in the
Yeah,
first one too, right? I think.
yeah,
All
yeah.
right.
That's when they first introduced her in that elf village. Yeah, and that's where she gave them all the special weapons and everything. The main cast.
So this
She
was
said,
like a younger version of her, which was, I mean, it was cool to kind of see that it was real. That when you Googled it, you can kind of see the comparison, and that was cool. But I didn't. She's just a cool character to kind of be put in the spotlight. What's interesting is, like I said, I think we're still gonna get to more of the episode, but I think I also wanted to address, like, I feel like the only reason why the show has been getting backlash, it hasn't really been, because if you look at the ratings, like, it's actually been doing really good as far as like what I see. Um, I think just a lot of people would just kind of just haven't been really accepting to the new concept behind, I'm guessing, like, all the characters, why are we going backwards when we should be going forward? I don't know. There is a lot of things to complain about, but to me, I think I have to agree with everybody else has kind of been saying, like, I'm just open to like this new new journey. You know what I mean? These new characters, new journey, and maybe we can kind of get some more experiences in there as far as like experiencing some of these the main character for sure, and then also I want to see I also want them to kind of talk about the rings more too, like you said. So I hope that we can get some, like, because with the show, this is a TV series, right? So I think that they should be able to answer most questions
right,
within the seasons or the show, however many episodes they tend to submit, how far the show can go. I feel like we can get our answers as far as understanding the rings. I don't think they're going to talk about Sauron too much, but I will say they will talk about maybe on how he actually forged his ring, I think.
yeah, maybe so.
Yeah. Um or even just kind of elaborating on how he even gathered more orcs, and just unraveling some of his master plans on like what's really been going on behind the whole thing, cuz he has like a whole army, bro, like, you know what I mean? Like, that's if right now all he has right now is just like little tribes, is what I see. You know what I mean? He doesn't have a full army established for what we know.
Right.
But
Yeah. Oh yeah. As far as like, not to go back a little bit, but we were saying about people disagreeing. It is a lot of people disagreeing, especially like on websites like Metacritic. Like shit, the audience gave it like 2.5 score so far, but the critics gave it a high score. They gave it a 71. But the audience, the people that are actually consuming it, they're rating it pretty low, and a lot of it's coming from because it's not following the original book of Tolkien's point of view of his story.
well, because
There are,
it's a whole new writer. It's a whole new creator. You know what I mean? Who created this one? I think it was I forgot. Hold on. I remember seeing his name. I just don't remember like who was it. It's a whole new creator, man. And it's not supposed to be the same exact way that Tolkien, whatever. If I'm saying that right, I don't mean to slander the name or just like destroy it, but it's not about him anymore. You know what I mean? Like, this is a whole new entry. I say give it a chance. You know what I mean? Like, the actors are great. They're not terrible. It's supposed to be a new journey. You know what I mean? And we might even get more films. I don't know. Like I said, even though I'm guessing a lot of people don't want to really even think about that, because again, if they're saying no, if they're giving it shit now in this early stages of the show,
right.
I don't think they want to see it go that far. And that's a shame,
Yeah.
because I feel like it will get better within this first actual season, in my
Sure. Hope so.
opinion. That's what I'm saying. Um
I
But
wouldn't say completely forget about Tolkien because he's literally the creator of it. But I get what they're saying. It's not based off the books or anything.
no,
But it's, as long as I see it as like as long as they staying close to the actual material of the main story, then it shouldn't be a problem.
yeah,
But if they do like later on in the season drift off into like different avenues that have nothing to do with the story, then I would definitely agree with the consensus of what's going on with the people who are having problems with the whole story.
yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that. But yeah, we can go back to the episode though. I didn't mean to derail from that, but
Yeah.
so I mean, when she jumped off the boat, because I know you. Matter of fact, I'll let you go ahead and start with the the water scene, because I feel like you wanted to kind of really talk about that. Go ahead, you can start us off with that.
If it was like one problem I had between both of these episodes, it was probably that the most, because it was like, this is all fantasy and everything, right? We had to have a disbelief in like unrealistic things. I get
Yeah.
that, of course.
Right.
But when it comes to a point where you deny gravity and like physics, that's when you're like losing me. I'm like, bro, it's because when she denies going into the sun with the rest of the seven elves, she jumps into the water and she bumps into like this group on like these plank. Like it's not like a boat, but it's just like a put together plank or whatever they was on.
Yeah, it wasn't that big. It barely could have fit all those people that was on it.
Right. And at first they was rejecting her on because they didn't know who she was, and they seen that she was an elf, and they wanted to stay away from her. But then the one lady let her on because I guess she felt bad for her, and then I guess they found out who she actually was, and then then out of nowhere, you see like the sea creature underwater. They're coming after him.
Yeah, the worm.
The raft and the shit. That's when shit goes downhill, and they try to fight the shit off, but then they get murdered except this one guy
that was the part I was confused about. I was like, wait, how did they all die? And he managed to stand.
Yeah, because he didn't give a shit. He just split the shit apart. He cut it in half, and then.
Well, I mean, to be fair, he told everybody to stay still. They didn't do that. So I mean, when he emerged from the fog after after the worm ate them and destroyed the plank, whatever they were standing on. You just see him. You see the worm go back into the fog, but the piece of plank of what he's standing on looks exactly like it. So he emerges from the fog, and then the way he comes out of the fog is just like, well, I told you guys just staying still. Like I just
They was just all freaking out, and they were just.
He was just nonchalant. Like he didn't give. Like you really was right. Like he just didn't seem like he cared.
Yeah, it's like he's like, whatever. I'm just gonna save this lady and be out.
Yeah.
Like,
so the part that to me, with that concept, with you were right though, because as far as we don't even know how long she's been swimming for, man. Because it just seemed like well, obviously you don't want to be too fixated on just that one scene. I get it. Because I feel like you said, there is a moment for realism. And then there's like you said, it's fantasy and stuff like that. But it is some things kind of hard to see past for some people that kind of reads into this like the concept of like some of the things that goes on in the show.
It's logical. You can't get past physics. That's gravity. That's all it is. Sound.
I know, but like I said, most people don't really probably look at it like that. They're like, "Oh man, we just want him to do like they probably want them to fly. We don't. They wouldn't care, But as far
because I was about to say, like the main part that was bothering me is like after the monster went away, they seen like a storm was coming upon them, and the waves are starting to pick up, but. It's like once that happened and they was in the midst of the storm, she somehow when she fell in the water, like it wasn't when you're in a storm in the middle of an ocean, you're supposed to be getting knocked around underwater. I'm like, how the fuck is she solidly falling down while this whole storm is going on, and the boat is staying in place as everything is happening conveniently, and it's like what the.
The
It just didn't make any sense to me, but
the
yeah,
part the
it's
part
like
that got me was when she got wrapped up in like the rope, and I think it was like tied to like a rock or something like that, or something really heavy like a barrel. I think it was a barrel, and
yeah,
it fell in the water. And obviously I guess her leg was wrapped around the rope, and they actually pulled her into the water. The part that confused me the most was that when she's sinking down to the bottom of the ocean, she looks unconscious, right?
yeah.
Like she wasn't moving. She looks unconscious. He and that's when she was like when she fell in. I'm just looking at the guy, and he goes and he's looking at her, and he's looking at the rope falling, like falling more into the water until like to the point that I'm guessing he's not going to be able to pull her up. Or like, I mean, he probably wasn't going to be able to pull her up because how heavy that was. But instead of you looking at it, you know what I mean? Like, because I feel like the reaction time is just crazy. Like, he's just looking at the rope going down, and it's like, okay, are you going to save her, or like, are you just going to sit there? You know what I
Yeah,
mean? So when he decides
like,
to go back into the ocean, and this is where it gets to my point. He goes in the ocean, goes and grabs her. He takes a knife out of her belt, or the side or something. She had like a knife on her. Cuts the rope. When they emerge from the ocean, I'm like, she comes conscious again. You know what I'm saying? Like she's awake. She's swimming. I was like, I thought you was just unconscious. I was thinking like he was actually gonna pull her out of the ocean, and then kind of she was gonna be unconscious, and he was gonna have to actually just put her back on the plank, and then try to help
do
her
some
breathe again. Yeah,
CPR.
yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like you're drowning for like a couple of seconds right there, or even you know what I mean?
That's another part too. I'm like, how's the plank still in the same spot from where they dived into the water? Like that shit should be all the way in another place because the waves are going crazy at the time.
I don't know,
Someone
man.
in the same spot. It doesn't make any
I
sense.
try not
But
to. I try because I feel like that sucks the fun out of the. Most people will probably be like, you one of those people, and it's like, well, I mean, it's hard to see past those things, but
yeah,
it,
it
it
just doesn't make any sense
uh,
physically. But yeah,
but the ocean, I mean, the ocean part to me, I mean, we still don't know where exactly they are. It seems like one, and I forgot his character's name too. Um,
oh yeah, he's like he gets mostly introduced in this episode, the second episode. Yeah, yeah, but
tell,
it's his name.
telling you, man, we're just terrible. I feel like people are gonna be like,
Yeah, but, these episodes are new, so we're not gonna get the names off that. But yeah, it's one of the guys that was on the boat. I'm sure he's probably gonna be part of the main cast as we go forward.
Halbrand, I think. So I mean, it seemed like we got a little bit. We didn't get too much information on him. We just know that his village was burned. I'm guessing destroyed. By Sauron. I'm guessing because it kind of flashes back to her seeing his symbol, and she was just saying, well, where did you come from? And he's pretty much in that kind of state of mind where he still doesn't really still trust her. So he doesn't really want to answer too many questions, or even really just talk to her. He just saved her because he felt like he needed to. He just felt like he couldn't just let her die like that.
Right.
Um, so
Even
I
though he
feel
didn't give a
so I
crew.
feel like with her too, she wants him to help her find Sauron. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
because obviously her team abandoned her, so now she's probably gonna have to establish a new team, and that's where I feel like I honestly feel like that's how it's gonna align at some point. I feel like she's gonna get Halbrand, Aaron, and I don't know, maybe I don't think the dwarf, but I think she's gonna establish like some sort of small team, just like how she had it before. I feel like
Yeah. Yeah, I can definitely see that.
Ye- That's what I'm saying. Like I could see that. I could see that coming.
Similar to what's the name? Probably even Nori too. I could see Nori probably joining in or some kind of way. The group.
I don't know. Nori doesn't really strike me as somebody that's really combat though. Maybe if she learned, maybe I'm not sure, but I don't know. I don't really see that happening. But I mean, it'll be interesting to kind of have.
I could see her filling in
there.
that spot that Nori filling that spot that the main character of the first Lord of the Rings I forget his
Frodo.
name.
Frodo and Sam.
Yeah. Frodo and Sam is like in this version is Nori
and Bobby. Yeah.
That's why I was getting the vibes from when they presented them at first. So I feel like Nori might take that role of Frodo.
Yeah.
I can see it. But not main character, of course, but in that same spot.
And then I feel like so after that scene, I feel like what else did we learn? We learned the Dwarf Kingdom. That was like a really big part. It seemed like, you know, the Dwarf Prince had a really good relationship. Well, before we start with that, I want to start with damn, what the hell is his name too? Man, I feel like we're just terrible, bro. Like
is it Elrond?
No. Elrond, yeah. See, you got Aaron and then Elrond. They just sound similar. Like
oh right.
Yeah. Elrond is you know, the other elf that's usually that he's like some sort of I don't know what he is. Like is he like a prince or something like I'm not sure.
Celebrun.
So the interesting part is that he's with an engineer pretty much, or an architecture, if you would say. And they start to strategize. Like he drew out a blueprint of a tower that wants to be built. So he needs enough manpower, I'm guessing, to help build this tower that's supposed to be, I forgot what was the premise of it though. I think he said like it will be like the most, I can't even think off the top of my head because I'm thinking like it kind of sounded like it was some sort of tower for like a sun or something like that. I don't know. It was like some sort of magical tower. I'm guessing. So he wants to be able to put this tower together. I'm just curious to see like what's the why? Like why do you want to build a tower? You know what I mean? I don't think he really said why. I think he just wants. He didn't answer why. He said this how. I remember that's him saying that he just wants to be able to build this tower. So, you know, that's when Elrond goes on the journey to kind of go to the Dwarf Kingdom, challenge the dwarf prince to a game of just grabbing him, you know, the hammer and start breaking stones. And I'm guessing you just got to keep breaking them until the point that you just give up. That was cool. I mean, that was to me that was like some sort of a challenge type. At least you didn't have to actually fight. I thought they actually had to fight each other.
Yeah. At first, I thought they was trying to find something within the stones, but it was just like a challenge of who can do it the most, I guess.
Yeah. You know, unfortunately, Elrond lost the fight. So, after that situation, it was kind of like it seemed like, you know, it did seem like he didn't really talk to Elrond like that, the Dwarf Prince. You know what I mean? He didn't really talk to him like that. It just seemed like he was mad at him for something. And I kind of felt that when I first seen him. Because he wasn't because
the past.
Yeah. But it just seemed like he was upset with him. And then obviously after that situation where you know, he started to talk to him a little more, he was just kind of mad at him about the fact that he wasn't there for his wedding and, you know, the birth of his two kids, which is understandable. I mean, and he said, what was it, like 100 years or some shit like that?
Oh, right. It was a while ago.
Yeah. You know, and then that, you know, to them that may not seem like a long time, but he was like, I lived a whole lifetime, bro.
Yeah, that's have kids, and he never came by.
The fact
that
that to me that blows my mind a little bit, right? Like the fact that they can live 100 years and they still look like that, like it's crazy. Like how long can they live for?
yeah, there was a mythical creature, so Lord knows, especially in Lord of the Rings.
It's crazy. So after seeing, seeing that kind of like went about, their friendships, it just seemed like it was kind of tarnished because obviously it kind of just seemed like he missed his friend. That's what it was.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know how simple it could have been, but you could have just went to him, right? Could have just went to him and had that conversation. You know what I'm saying? It just seemed like, I mean, not to dig too deep into it, but it's like, well, you could have just sent like a letter or something like that, or just sent a bird or something. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I'm guessing that Elrond probably didn't put his best foot forward to actually visit his
until
friend.
he wanted something. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't wanted it. Yeah, I just feel like, I'm guessing he was just too busy doing stuff in the kingdom, I guess. I don't know. They didn't go too that deep. But like I said, we got a chance to really see like, the Dwarf Kingdom. I thought that was cool. You could see like the elevator, the automatic elevator.
That's actually the place where Gandalf died in the first movie. I didn't even know that until like the end of the episode. I'm like, oh shit.
Is that where he fell off the ledge?
Yeah, like where that demon was chasing him and he did the spell and the demon took him down with him, and yeah, that's that whole place. Except, of course, in the first one, that's later on, and it looks completely
dark.
Destroyed.
Yeah. So that was before all that. That's cool.
Yeah.
It looks beautiful though before all that.
Right. It's a nice scenery. I like that. It's one of the best sightings in the show so far.
So, that's why I'm saying I think that was it was really cool to see the kingdom, and then we saw the tree that was actually they've been growing in the prince's room. So I think that was cool, and I think the tree, Elrond was kind of elaborate, like just kind of telling us, it's not just a tree that kind of grows from nothing; it actually grows from love and pure of hearts. I'm guessing is what he was trying to say.
Right.
So that was pretty cool. And like I said, I mean, it just seemed like their relationship kind of gotten a lot more established. I'm guessing after, talking about what happened. The wife was very amazing. I love it. I love the prince's wife. I think she was amazing. She was cool. So
the reason why the tree is golden is because the elves is like a special thing of Galadriel. I mean, but
Galadriel. Yeah.
The reason why her hair is like that is because I seen like a little backstory of like her parents. Like their hair is like that for a reason. It's because it stems from the tree in a way. Well,
oh shit!
I'm like, oh, that's interesting.
That is cool as shit. I didn't even think that.
Yeah, it's a like reason why like the hair.
It's like the golden tree in Elden Ring.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was thinking too.
Yeah.
Yep, the golden tree.
He was like, yeah, it's like the golden tree from Elden Ring. That's funny as shit.
Yeah, because those trees, like I was saying earlier in this podcast, that tree is based off of paganism in real life. So that's where a lot of this folklore is coming from.
But she doesn't have any magical powers, not that we're aware of. I don't think so. Yeah. Oh wait, I think they did. No, I think they do. I think they do. I think they do, but it's just like kind of. I think they have to say the words, right? It's like a tongue. It's like a weird language thing that they use that they can control like elements and shit. Because I remember in the first one,
right.
I remember in the first movie she used water, right? Like she used like a horse type, like horseman and something like that, and it was like a wave of water that she was able to like control. So,
right. Oh yeah, that was a different elf, but yeah, they could do some stuff like that
Yeah,
for
that's
sure.
what I mean. But that's what I mean, though. It's like the fact that that one elf was able to do that is what I'm saying. They have like some sort of. It's not like element powers, but they kind of. It's like kind of like a spell. I don't know. It's kind of weird.
Yeah, because what she was doing in the first one, she was able to show like these show the powers of the past. Like she was able to show like memories of what was going on in previous times. So
Mm.
yeah, they can like, access different things like that. It's cool. But yeah, going back to the dwarves. Yeah, they it seemed like yeah they was cool after that. You know that whole argument. His queen or whatever. They kind of made amends between those two.
Mm.
That was cool between the dwarf and
Yeah, they made amends after that, which was I think that was the coolest part about that.
yeah.
Um, and then obviously later on we got a chance to really see, um, you know, his father, who is the king of the dwarves. You know, obviously he has some sort of trust issues with every other species out there, I guess. Like, you know, he just doesn't really trust a lot of people, which is, I mean, that's a good method. Can't trust everybody. So, yeah. And you know the interesting part was kind of seeing that it was like a treasure box or something like that. I don't know what was in it. My theory was I don't know, like it could be a ring, but I don't know what it was inside that box. I really am curious to see like what is that, you know?
Oh yeah, and then they show like it was like a sword. It was like a sword handle. I believe was that where the dwarfs were at? It's like a sword handle, and I was wondering what that was going to be, but they didn't go too much into that. That's when they first showed it.
Yeah, I don't know. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah,
I'm curious. I don't know what it is.
yeah.
Um, so that was cool. And what else did we left out? I think we left out.
Oh,
Uh,
back at with Dio with the that creature that's underground, the mole creature.
yeah, like no, I thought those were orcs, man. I don't know what the fuck that was.
Yeah, they was like they didn't really look like orcs. They was like tall. They was like real tall as shit. Like I don't know. They was like some kind of creature, new
Yeah, I
underground
don't know if
creature.
I don't know if anybody ever caught on to that, but that was the first time that you know the suspense of when it first came out of the damn floor, right, and looking for you know Theo's mom.
Yeah.
It played like a little horror movie for a second. You know what I'm saying? Like you know got little
Yeah,
jump scares in there. You know?
yeah, they was trying to make it a little thriller a little bit.
Yeah, I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, I like the design of the creature too. Like that was cool. Like the special makeup design of it and the
Yeah, I like that. I
practical.
like the cloudy eyes. The cloudy eyes look pretty dope.
Yeah, I
Um,
really like the design of it. But yeah,
I
it
don't
was
know
trying
what
to. It was trying
I don't know where they came from because like that's when Aaron went in there actually. I don't know. He started going down this tunnel and shit. And
right.
you know that I'm guessing that's where he actually started to hear noises and shit like that. And then you can kind of see them kind of crawling their way into you know towards him because he can't really see. He has like a lantern or some shit.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah. He fell into the water, and then that's how he got away through that little gap spot.
no, but he got
Oh,
pulled. He got grabbed though. They grabbed him eventually.
right. Oh yeah, I'm saying like after the
Oh yeah. No, that shit was crazy.
yeah, he was able to escape. But those mole creatures, yeah, that was interesting to see that.
Yeah,
And
I've never seen them in the actual world of Middle Earth, if I would say. We've seen some very interesting things periodically throughout the movies, the games, all these creatures, but um, you know, I've never seen Molt like that. That was cool.
yeah,
That was different.
I was wondering too if there was after that sword that Dio found inside that room too, like that
You know
sword.
what? I don't
What?
know. I don't know if they were after the sword. I think they just happened to just be I don't know. It's just my theory. I think they just happened to be just randomly kind of underneath the house. I guess I would say, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, because that's the thing we kind of left out too, because there was like rumors going around like the village of saying like it was something underneath the planks of the house or something like that, and they kept hearing noises underground, and that's when they finally found out about it. Yeah, it's that was a cool scene. I feel like that was like a standout part of it.
When he hit the floor and
Yeah,
yeah, that shit was crazy. I didn't expect the eyeball to pop out like that. That was crazy.
yeah, yeah, gnarly. I like that, and the fact that yeah, that sword seems like it comes from the Middle Earth.
I
Yeah,
mean,
like when it comes like the ring.
I mean, we can go ahead and say like that sword was crazy. The fact that, well, I mean, how they was managed to kill the creature, I thought that was, they both fucked him up.
Oh yeah, they hung his ass and then
Fucked him up.
yeah,
Um, you know, but the sword has so much to, that when it formed after him bleeding, man, I was like, what the fuck is that? Like, I've never seen a sword like that. The only interesting sword that has really been in Lord of the Ring, I would say, like, that's Frodo's sword, and it just glows, and it just glows, right?
yeah.
I've never seen a sword like that. That
It's
shit is,
funny.
yeah, it's shit.
It's funny. Fredo actually got that sword from the main character of this, Galadriel.
Yeah,
Yeah, like the older version of her. Yeah, but also the sword that he has is it has the same symbol that she's looking for. That the same symbol that
Sauron's symbol.
has, yeah. So that's gonna be connected. And I'm searching for that sword.
It kind of seemed like it had sort of the same enchantment as the ring did too. It's crazy.
Yeah, but I'm saying like it comes from the Middle Earth of Mordor, and it's has some kind of connection. We shall see.
Yeah, man, there's so much to think about, man. I'm telling you.
Yeah, because that's pretty much where this episode leads off at, like when it shows the revealance of the sword forming from his blood, and then that's when they leave off with his mom and everything.
Yeah, I don't even know where they're heading. I'm curious. And then no, it actually left off with Galadriel and the guy on the plank, and there was like somebody looking down at them, but we don't even know who that is.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, it arrived to some new area.
Yeah, I don't know who that is. Can't even put my finger on it. But I'm liking the show, man. I'm liking the show a lot. I feel like we did leave out probably a few things. But I think we pretty much got the bulk of it pretty much. Um I think the writing and the language for, well, we talked about that earlier already. Um yeah, I think that's about it. I don't know. I feel like we kind of already touched everything on these last two episodes. I feel
Yeah,
like I really am curious to see, like, even for our fans, I want to see like what do they think about the show so far. Um
yeah,
what do they look to expect gaining from, the show? There is some things actually, like if you watch it, like when you see it on Amazon, well, obviously it's the only place you can watch it on there, but there's like especially on the mobile version, you can kind of see some of the text. I'm guessing some parts were kind of taken from the book. I'm guessing there's a book, I guess. I think on the show right now, maybe. But
um,
there's a book out there. And that's pretty interesting to kind of, cuz when you pause it, you can kind of see everything. You can see the cache, you can see page things related to the book. So, I think that's cool.
yeah,
But I think we touched it based on everything, I think, right?
yeah. For the most part, yeah,
Yeah.
it's many parts. Yeah,
All right. I think we can leave it off right there. I hope we were able to kind of, you know, give you guys some really good insight on what we feel about the show so far. We love it so far. We want to see more. We're going to continue to keep doing more episodes as the show comes out. It comes out every Friday, so we'll try to get a review down for each one. Um,
Yep.
and just let us know what you think about that. We
Yeah.
definitely want to know your guys' thoughts on that. And yeah, and Don, you have anything else you want to add on there? Or
Oh yeah. I forgot to mention too. What you was mentioning your favorite character so far. Mine will probably be Dio because I feel like everybody so far like his story. I feel like it's more mysterious, and I wonder where his story is going to come into play. How it's going to all tie in, and he seems like a very interesting character to me.
no, I don't
Especially,
know. He seems like he might be a bad little shit. It's like no.
yeah, he got that that same friend too that was making an argument in the bar too. So it seemed like he might get manipulated by him later on. I don't know.
Yeah, I just feel like he might turn to the dark side. And
Maybe.
he might be evil at some point, especially now he knows what that sword can do. I'll be afraid of Theo right now.
Yeah, they was about to go start some shit. Maybe.
Yeah. So we definitely want to know what you guys' thoughts on it. What can be what do you guys think about the next episode? What do you feel like, they're gonna talk about more? Who is the mysterious guy that ended off on the last scene of the episode 2? Um who do you feel like the stranger, like what do we feel like he's gonna go, like, as far as, is he gonna be a good guy, bad guy? Is he gonna have powers? And like, we need more explanations on what's going on with his character as well. Um, you know, will Galadriel, I keep saying Galadriel, we keep saying Galadriel, will we see her? I don't know. Will we be able to see more of the journey that she has, that she has already set off of? Will we see more of what's going to happen after leaving the ocean? And Adron, and like I said, I don't know what happened to Aaron, but I feel like, we need to figure out what's going on with that. So yeah, we definitely want to hear you guys more thoughts on as the show, as each episode comes out. But I think that's it. We can wrap up right there. We hope you guys enjoyed all the content we talked about in the episode. You can leave a like. Well, you can like our subscription, leave a like, leave a comment, follow our social medias, and I think that's about it. We'll see you guys on the next episode.
Peace.
Peace.